Hey, how's it going? My name is Gregg. I'm with the group West Philadelphia Orchestra, and I'm going to tell you about our new track, Double Doink Dabke. I'm going to tell you about how this track came about what our process is, how do we develop songs, things like that. The track will be coming out on December 27th. It'll be on Bandcamp and all of the streaming sites, and I even made a canvas, the Spotify canvas, whatever the hell that thing is. I made one of those too because, you know, I guess you gotta be trying these days. So this track, Double Doink Dabke, I composed it. I believe I kind of composed it right here. This is my my studio. Sometimes I do like voice memos. Sometimes I'll be sitting at the piano. This one, I just remember came to me late at night, maybe even after a rehearsal, which I had some ideas. And it's, you know, it's a jammer. I think, we're just going for a track that makes people feel good, that makes the dance floor move, and I think hopefully you agree that we achieved it here. So here's a taste of it. I'll give you a quick preview. Let's check it out. And yeah, here it is. All right, so that's just a taste. That's the first minute of it, thereabouts. So this track, the name, if you have questions about that, it's called the Double Doink Dabke. I'll start with the Dabke part. Dabke is a style of music. It's a rhythm, very popular in Lebanon and Syria and in Palestine. And we first became aware of Dabke. I guess I was getting really into it in 2019. I was starting to play and collaborate with members of the Mid-East Ensemble, particularly with William Tayoun, who plays synths in this Mid-East Ensemble. I was playing in a group called Zrna, Z-R-N-A. We were playing at Frankie Bradley's once a month. We would take one night of West Philadelphia Orchestra's residency. We had a weekly residency at Frankie Bradley's. One night a month we would do like an electronic side of it, and that was my project. So I'd be there with playing darbuka. I'd be here with Ableton Push, dropping beats, kind of running backing tracks, bass lines, low end stuff, extra percussion. I'd be soloing on darbuka. We had two synth players. We had Brendan Cooney playing synth, and then we had Billy Tayoun of the Mid-East Ensemble on synth, and some horn players. So that was just another, kind of an experiment for us, like another way to hear this music. What is the electronic side of Balkan music and Middle Eastern music, and what does that feel like? And what about that is really cool? And what should we bring back and incorporate into the brass band, right? So this track came about while we were working on that project, and I remember bringing it to the group one night. We had a rehearsal, and I just said, hey, let's just try this one. I just wrote this last night. So I wrote it on Ableton Live, and then a lot of times I compose on Ableton just using MIDI. I just kind of play stuff in on keyboards and stuff like that. Let me show you a little bit of the demo track to show you what that sounds like, and I'll break it down for you. So here we go. Here's the Ableton. This is the oldest version of the track that I could find. So here's that. Oh, that's not that. It's this one. Here, again, this way. Just a MIDI beat I programmed. So that's pretty close to this. You know, I mean, a lot of the ideas are there. The main melodies are there. Actually, I think all of the sections of the song were there in the original demo. They didn't all fit together. I could tell, like, I had this idea here. That was still separate. I hadn't joined that yet with the rest of the track. I had this part was this. So I had these two parts, they had like two other fragments to this song that actually got incorporated into the main track eventually. I'm not exactly sure, you know, when I put that together, but I had a bunch of ideas. I had like an A section, a main melody. I had like a groove, kind of a breakdown interlude section, and then a strong B melody, and then it kind of went back to the A. So it was like kind of A, B, A, B, but I like to have like little interludes to kind of get us from one part to the other and kind of make the journey a little bit different down the way. So those other little bits that came up as I was composing this, they became part of that as well. So when I work in Ableton Live, I've got a whole bunch of different instruments here at my disposal just to work. This is like if I have a template, I open it up, and it's like a virtual West Philadelphia orchestra. I've got drums. This is good if I want to have like tap on when I have a darbuka. Why not just play it all live? Well, it's kind of complicated to get the whole mic set up and things like that. I can work really quickly if I've got these sounds right here ready to go. And they sound pretty good. Like I know what I would play live, but I can actually make it sound pretty good here. So there's that. I've got a tuba. So I got this tuba over here. This is a sample from some record that had this, you know, some Balkan record. I just love that first tuba note. And that's my writing tuba note. It's really short, so all my notes have to be punchy. There's no sustain. I can't go, whoa, it just goes boom. That's it. And then I have a trumpet. So I got a trumpet instrument there. It's actually a sample of Boban Markovic from one of his records. So it's kind of fun. When I'm writing songs, I'm actually, you know, writing with like an actual Balkan trumpet player's tone, which is a very different thing than like a jazz player's tone or a classical trumpet player or salsa trumpet player. So, you know. You know, a little bit of extra thing there. I've got a sample of a Zerna. I think I got this from like an Ahmet Ozdin record, you know. So that's just another sound that I can go to and I can use. And then that's kind of it. I do have trombones in here, but I wasn't thinking about the baritone parts when I was writing this track at first. I was just thinking melody, groove, and a bass line. And that's what you get at first. So, you know, if you look in here, I mean, this might look kind of maddening. Like, when I'm writing, I'm like looking at this. And I think like, I usually have it chopped up in smaller pieces. But, you know, I can read this. This is, you know, E and D. You know, I can kind of read those notes pretty quickly now. I can kind of read this like it's sheet music from you know, a few years of doing it. Sometimes people think that's kind of weird. Here's the groove, you know, something like that. Just kind of how you program the grooves and the melody and stuff like that. If I, like, hit this and solo the melody. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, one of the really beautiful things about Balkan music that I like is the ornamentation of the melodies. And I'm a drummer, so I don't know anything about the ornamentation of the melodies. So I hear it sometimes, and a lot of times when I compose, I use my voice. So, you know, like I have no idea what da is, you know, but I can kind of figure out what the notes would be. I don't have like the muscle memory of like when a trumpet player does this, they kind of like flick the notes on and off. They kind of like flick their fingers, their whole arms move and stuff. Like, I don't really know what they're doing. I think that's the note. Generally, I kind of give them my idea of it, and I say, you just go and tell me what you think it should be. And that's when I really call on the player's expertise. Because I'm a drummer, I know how to do the drum parts really well. I mean, I know the way I think the drum should sound. Everyone else, you know, I say, these are suggestions. Every note I write down for them is a suggestion, and I say, I want you to take this and do something interesting with it. All right, so from this process in Ableton Live, we kind of start expanding, and I might make some different versions of the song. So let me show you like another version of this, which is kind of fun. Eventually, I got into adding some baritone horns, and this is, I'm going to pull up this version right now. Well, let's see how fast my CPU is or how fast this loads. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. It's got loads of new instruments in there. So in the further versions of this song, you know, as I kind of develop it further, I think the band liked it. The band liked playing this live in the electronic version. We're like, no, that's a cool tune. We should make a band version of this. I was like, okay, cool. So here, you know, I have a lot more drums. I got kick and snare and claps, and I got like my davul and a rick. And I'm actually, this is actually a great version of Native Instruments Contact player. They, you know, this is a sample of this, you know, beautiful Turkish davul drum, and there's a sample of a rick. I mean, I love using this stuff. It sounds really great. And when I'm writing, it's really fun. Like when I'm writing songs, I'm not like, I'm not sitting around here just like clicking stuff. Like when I'm writing songs, I like to kind of party, right? I mean, I might even have a drink out or something, you know, and I might even have some friends out hanging out. Because if I'm not like partying when I'm making a song, like I'm probably not gonna want to bring this to like a dance party. You know, I need to feel this in the moment. I need to get real hype feeling about the song as I'm writing it. So that's why it's nice having some sounds that you like, and that's why I kind of have this template. So here's a version of the song now. It's got the groove, it's got the intro. It's got the sound more like it, and like So one of the things that really changed when I got thinking about this as a brass band song is that I added this tuba part. So the first bass part, if you heard, was pretty basic. There wasn't a lot going on in it. Just a lot of root notes, and then I thought maybe I could take a different approach on this low brass thing. Maybe I could write low brass parts in a kind of a different style. Now, my favorite bass playing of all time is Motown, and like what James Jamerson would do on a tune like Ain't No Mountain High Enough. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, the bass is so slick, and it's not obvious. It's almost playing a kind of very active counterpoint, catching the melody sometimes, answering the melody sometimes. And I thought, well, let me write a bass line that I think James Jamerson might appreciate, or something like that, on a tuba line. So I did that, and let's hear a bit of that. We can kind of hear some of that. Here's the... This is the MIDI. All right, I'm going to play that again. And we'll listen to it with the baritone horn parts. Baritone horns in Balkan brass music. Baritone horns, there's like 3, sometimes even 4 horns. They play together. Each one of them plays a separate note, right? So if we had, and they kind of together, they kind of act like a rhythm guitar. So if I picked up a guitar and we're playing the chords, I could like strum the 6 notes at once, or something like that. Baritone horns, each one plays like a separate note of that chord or a separate string, and they really to play, their timing has to be really impeccable, and our baritone players are really good at this, and they, you know, they're really serious, and I thought I'd make their part a little more active too, so they weren't just kind of hanging out one note, and then they get a chance to play some counterpoint. So here's the song with the baritone horns added. Okay, so all this pretty much ended up on the record. That's kind of how it is. We go from these demos that I make, and then I take the demo and I will export all of these different tracks. I'll export those to Pro Tools, and then in Pro Tools, I'll start kind of just replacing them, right? Like, okay, I know what the notes should be, I know the general idea, but now I need a real player to come along and play it with personality, play it with inflection, and give it some soul. And so usually we do the drums first, and I tracked the drum part, the drum set part, I think, first down in my basement. And then most of our recordings are actually done here. We are like in the tracking room, and then down in the basement we have a fairly large space, and we can kind of spread out. And we usually record in sections, like percussion first, and then like the low brass might be together, and then like trumpets and reeds. Sometimes trumpets separate than reeds, but something like that. We end up doing it. And actually, bonus content, before we get to Pro Tools, I want to show you one more thing. This is kind of interesting. I like to try to hear a song in as many ways as possible. So for this track, I decided, let me make a version of it that's like definitely in like the club vibe, deep into like a club atmosphere. So this is, we had made the recording with the Zerna band, and then I just said, let me just like almost remix my own song before it even comes out, just to hear what a remixer might do. Because maybe I'm going to steal some of those elements, if I can get in my DJ mentality. That could also have a really good impact on the way that I think about this song. So here's a version of that. This is missing the melody. You're not going to hear the original melody, but you can hear the groove. It's got, for me, this is like bounce music. It's kind of flat. Very different bass line. Yell, shout, and stuff. So I kind of like that. I had forgotten that I had done that until recently. So now I'm thinking, maybe what would this sound like if I take the horns, the WPO melody horns, and what if I drop them on that? That might be kind of cool. I might have to try that later on. So we'll see. If there's a remix version that comes out, this is the genesis of that. So the final track, here's a quick breakdown of it. I got that up now. So this is the Pro Tools session that it came from. We've gone and replaced the drums. We have Chad Brown playing tap-on. We have Elliot Beck on percussion. And I'm playing zills. I got these zills. You want to see my zills? Zills, alright? They're like my new favorite thing. I'm really into zills these days. Alright, so Tuba. This is our baritone section. So Larry Toft and Frank Ryan. And the tuba on this track was actually played by Frank as well. And we do a little secret sauce on the tuba mixing. If anyone wants to know about the mixing and stuff, let me know. All right. And actually, this tune really started when we first recorded it. It was just me on drum set with. We open our trumpet folder here, and there's only 2 trumpets on this. Actually, it looks like. Yeah, we have Daniel Stern and Eric Sherman. So at first it was like this. This is Daniel Stern. Cool. So Daniel played that in a really great way, and I loved how he was interpreting that. He has a lot of experience playing like Bach and trumpet style, and he was actually relatively new to our group at the time. I was really happy with what he brought to it. So yeah, there's that layered in, and then we get into solos, and for the solos on this, it's Larry Goldfinger on the clarinet. Yeah, and then the other solo on the song is from Dawn Webster. There's a second solo spot, and that's cool. So you're gonna hear the song. Hopefully, you go check it out. It should after December 27th, it's gonna be available on Spotify, Apple Music, and all those services. And if you want to support the band, the best way is to get yourself a digital copy of the track on Bandcamp. That's kind of the way musicians can make money these days. So even though you might not even download the track, that's a way you can show your appreciation for it. And so we hope you enjoy it. We hope you liked this. If you made it this far, hopefully you're kind of like psyched about the tune and maybe interested in Bach and brass music more, and in the way that we organize our horns. And yeah, and if you ever need people to come and give you some ideas for horns on your records, whatever, we do that as well. We'd be happy to have you come here to the studio and work on tracks. So yeah, thanks. This has been great, and I hopefully you check out the track and enjoy. See you around.